Chapter 41. The Chase. Bree only slept for a few hours before Blaze began licking her hands to wake up. Despite the short night, she felt rested. She managed to have some leftover food from their stop in Jadri, so they ate quickly. Arian was waiting for everyone outside the cave, staring into the rising western sun. He didn't move as Bree approached, organizing her weapons. "Did you have a good sleep?" "I don't need sleep," he replied, not breaking his westward gaze. "We should be on the move soon. The sandworms are beginning to stir and hunt for food." "Good idea," Bree replied as she jumped onto Arian's back. Oriana flew close to Bree and tapped her on the shoulder. "You sound funny talking to yourself." Bree smiled. "I'll let you know if we're talking about anything of importance." "So which way should we go?" "North to the Dead Plains. Then we should follow it to the northeast until we arrive at a junction in the northern forest that leads straight through to the Water Temple. We should be able to make it there by nightfall." Blaze opened his mouth to speak, but Bree responded to Arian. "Sounds like a plan." "But I didn't say anything," Blaze commented. "Sorry," Arian said the plan. "And that plan was?" Blaze asked, a little annoyed. Bree repeated it, and once Oriana and Blaze nodded in agreement, they took off in the northern direction. They reached the Dead Plains in a little over an hour. Blaze and Oriana seemed a little tired, but Arian, who had basically trotted most of the journey over the Gaian desert, looked as strong as ever. They quickly turned right and began following the gradual arc of the Dead Plains around the southeastern edge of the central Golian forest. After traveling for an hour, Bree started to see where the Gaian desert met the northern forest, and the thick cluster of trees that hid the ghost town. As they approached the far eastern edge of the Royal Golian Road, she got a feeling that Arian was sensing danger. "Arian, is something wrong?" she asked. "There is something up ahead," he replied. "The ghost town is nearby." "No, something else." He slowed to a light trot as they came into full view of the Royal Golian Road entrance through the central forest. Blaze crossed around them and looked down the road as well, the hair on the back of his neck bristling. Even though it was midday under a partly cloudy sky, there was an eerie silence in the area. "What is it?" Bree asked. Blaze sniffed the air. His eyes suddenly went wide. "Pirates!" he growled. Arian instinctively began to back up, and after a few steps, the tree line exploded with action. Pirates on horses burst out of the trees and began charging toward them. There must have been over 50 of them, all armed with various weapons. Arian and Blaze turned and began running north. As they passed the edge of the Royal Golian Road, more pirates leapt out of the tree line to their left, forcing Bree's group closer to the patch of trees that held the ghost town. Before Bree or Blaze could consider going into that section of the northern forest, more pirates, led by Regan himself, leapt out of that area. They were surrounded on 3 sides now, with the only option heading due north. "I see you, little lady!" Regan screamed as he raced to intersect Bree and Arian. A few of the pirates began shooting arrows and throwing spears at them as they raced north. Looking ahead, Bree could make out a group of riders approaching, and soon they would be boxed in. She grabbed the bow from out of her backpack, and drew out one of the arrows from the quiver. Spinning on Arian's back so she now was running backwards, she aimed at Regan and fired. He saw that she had raised an arrow and threw a mace at her in retaliation. Both weapons met up in the middle and exploded in a giant ball of reddish gold flame. Regan looked concerned, and then a little frightened as Bree drew out another arrow and fired again. With nothing to stop it, Regan had to dodge this arrow. He narrowly moved out of the way before it hit one of the pirates behind him. That unfortunate pirate held a collection of mini Rosarum slings that he had been handing out to his fellow riders. The explosion that followed took out most of the horde following Bree's group, including causing Regan to be knocked off of his horse. A large crater remained in the ground where the explosion happened, and the remaining pirates stopped their chase before they were shot by Bree as well. "Tell the wolf and the fairy to get onto my back," Arian yelled back to Bree. She repeated the order, and despite Blaze's confused look, he dashed a little ahead until he could jump back onto Arian's back, behind Bree. Oriana landed on Bree's shoulder and held onto her jacket. "Hold on," Arian said, and then ran at full speed. The trees went by in a blur until he turned to the right, avoiding the pirates coming from the north, and entered the northern forest with a small path that only he could see. Looking backward at this speed was making Bree dizzy, but she focused hard until she felt Arian slow his pace. Once he stopped, she caught her breath and jumped off his back. She turned around to talk to him and check on the others, but was suddenly distracted by the shimmering brilliance of the structure through the trees a short distance before them. Arian's voice ran through her mind like a voiceover in a movie. Behold, Bree of Goal, the ice pyramid of Ap, home of the element of water.